Stay Healthy Proclamation 2025. In an effort to curtail the spread of COVID-19 virus, the board meeting will be conducted remotely. Members of the public are encouraged to attend and participate in the meeting remotely as described in our website. I'd like to have a roll call.
Okay. So board chair Tom Agnew.
Here.
Alternate board member McAuliffe.
Absent and excused.
Yes. Vice chair Bess Campbell.
Present.
Board member Marshall.
Here.
Board member Mead. Board member Lambert.
Here.
And board member Dembowski. So we have alternate board member McAuliffe and board members Mead and Dembowski absent.
Okay.
The rest of us are here.
Does that give us a quorum?
Yes, it does.
It should.
All right, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. It's a short meeting. There's not a lot to it, actually. We should be done pretty soon. I've called the meeting to order. Is there any public comment, or have we received any public comment?
We have not received any public comment at this time. However, there are 3 members of the public in attendance. If any of you would like to say anything, there were 2 for a second, but there's back to 3. If any of you would like to say anything, please use this raise hand feature, and then I will call on you and down you as you can talk. No takers.
Speaker for
Public comment at this
everyone.
time.
Okay, moving right along, I'd like to introduce the new NPRSA manager, Christine Disnuit.
Yeah, if I could just say a few words. I am so excited that Christine has joined our team. I want all of you to know that, of course, we were sad when we lost some of our previous staff. We did a really quick recruitment because we didn't really want to slow down any projects. So kudos to our HR department. They jumped on this job description. And we had some really good qualified candidates, but Christine was head and shoulders above everyone else. And we're super excited that she joined us. So Christine, we want to turn it over to you to give us just a little bit of information about your background and a little bit about you.
Hi, Christine Disnuit. I am happy to be joining the team and excited to get started and get running with some of these projects, get them off the ground. I come from, I was the facility manager at the Port of Tacoma previously. And so, yeah, there was only one of me. I managed over 1,000 acres of industrial and commercial warehouse, commercial office space, and yard space. So I'm pretty well versed in facilities management. So I hope I can bring that energy and expertise and really help the program as a whole become more efficient and effective. So
we're very excited. Welcome.
Yeah, here. Glad to have you on board. Picked an exciting time to be here. There's going to be a lot of things going on in the next few years.
awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Here.
So today we completed a building that I've been working on for 10 years. And so this is a good time. We finished that building and now we're going to get on to finishing this building in the next year or 2. So that'll be exciting. And
It
it won't
should-
take 10 years.
It should be exciting. Anyone else have anything to say to Christine other than welcome? But no other comments. There's nothing been pulled from the agenda. Does anybody want to pull anything from the agenda? I should probably ask first. And not seeing anybody want to pull something, we'll move right on to the consent agenda. The approval of the minutes of June 16th. And the review and approved vouchers signed by the auditing office for invoices received from June 9th, 2021 to August 11th, 2022 in the amount of $63,918.71. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I
Ma'am.
would make a motion that we approve the minutes of June 16th, 2021. We review and approve the voucher signed by the auditing officer for invoices received from June 9th to August 11th, 2021 in the amount of $63,918.71.
I have a,
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Lambert and a second by Councilmember Marshall. Any discussion on the motion?
A question I sent in earlier, and that was on the special district voucher approval document, which we see on page 9. You know, the descriptions are completely blank, so I have no idea exactly what those are. So I know my staff told me that people are looking up those answers today, but in the future, it'd be nice if we had just a general description. This was, you know, a wall, a toilet, a board, a roof, you know, whatever. So we have some kind of idea of what it is that we're paying off.
You can't, Board Member Lambert, you can reference the amounts listed in there with the rest of the invoices that are included in the voucher packets. That goes into greater detail, but if you would like to see a brief summary on that page, then we could probably include that in the future.
So, okay, I'm looking at the next page. I see the same dollar amount, but how would I know other than that they have the same dollar amount? Where on the next page does it say 232102-2? I don't see where I would look for that necessarily.
1 second, let me pull it up.
I'm on page 10.
Okay.
Anyway, I just felt like it was a little more confusing than I'm used to. So anyway, that was my only comment. Thank you.
Okay, I'll make sure that it's everything's in the correct order, and we can put a little note in the description there.
You know, even if you just said page 9 of the packet, just so I'd know, you know, where to go look so that I can see what it was, that would be great.
Will
Thank you.
do.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'd entertain a motion.
Chair,
didn't we just
we
have a
already had a motion in a second.
Oh, blah. You know, I am having too many senior moments here. I'm telling you, it's good that I'm leaving.
Leaving.
No, it's
Going.
wonderful.
Where are you going? We want to go with you.
I don't know what would be the first place. So we have a motion. Can we have a vote on the motion?
Chair Agnew,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bess
Accepted.
Campbell,
Yes.
Board Member Marshall,
Yes.
and Board Member Lambert.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that passes 4-0 with Board Members McAuliffe, Mead, and Dembowski absent.
Now we have a report from the Executive Director, her brief, Becky Range.
Yes, thank you all for your time. So I do apologize for not providing a written document with updates on all of our capital repairs. We've been very, very busy. And so our goal really for the last few months, while we were trying to fill some of these staffing gaps, was to just keep our projects moving, keep our contractors moving. And so we have been very busy with that. So what I'd like to do is just give you kind of a general update on how things have been going and our staffing changes, and then give you a very high level overview of some of our capital projects. I may be able to answer your questions on projects. I may not. We will see. Just real quick, I want to thank Brooke. Shortly after I started, Brooke and I had a chance to meet and just have a really good discussion about the relationship of the NPRSA and the Senior Center. And it was just a wonderful conversation. I hope she feels the same. We talked a lot about how really our goal is to support the Senior Center. And in some ways, I feel like when we started this new venture with this levy management of the NPRSA, that we really swung the pendulum pretty far about formality and drawing boundaries and each of us understanding our responsibilities and which roles and lanes we fill. And I think I appreciate that. And I think it was needed. But I will say that moving forward, I hope to work with Christine and Barbara to kind of really find that nice balance. The Senior Center, all of you getting what you need, but also making sure that we're not too about things. One of the things we mentioned earlier was just this meeting I like to see the faces of the public and the staffers who are attending. So we might change this format back to seeing everyone in person. If you have any feelings or opinions about that, please let us know. But just things like that, we're really trying to just now kind of fine tune our approach and our relationship. One of the things that we did have a chance to talk with Brooke about lately, Barbara did a fantastic job of getting our tenant agreement ready. So I think all of you know that it's going to be time for us to finalize this new tenant agreement. Brooke, Zorna, Barbara, and I all had a chance to sit down and to work through that document together. We don't think it's a wise approach to present either of our boards a tenant agreement, if we haven't already worked out a lot of the bugs. So we have got some significant work done there. There's still some work to do. So over the next few weeks, maybe a month or so, we'll fine tune that tenant agreement and make sure that Christine is able to lend her expertise on that agreement. And then we'll bring that forth to the board. So we're excited about that progress. One of the things I do want to mention before I talk about any capital repairs, I just want to say thank you to Harry. So, as we're sorting out all these different processes and how we work things, he's been so considerate. And an example of that is he presented the plans to NPRSA for transitioning that billiards room to a dance studio. And we had the opportunity to look at it, and it's beautiful. And I just really appreciate him consciously presenting the plans as the NPRSA has requested to that facility. So thank you, Harry, for that. Just some real quick high-level updates on our capital repairs. There's been a lot going on. And forgive me, some of the board members may already be aware of some of these decisions. I'm not really sure when the decisions were made, so you may be aware or may not. We had some assessments done of the crawl space at the Health and Wellness Center. And you probably know that. So Cornerstone brought in a team and they did some evaluation, and there were some concerns initially that perhaps the ventilation wasn't adequate. But after they got in there and completed all their reports and did their assessments, they do believe that ventilation is completely adequate. And I think there was some things done with the fans. I'm not exactly sure what the details were, but they provided us with a written report that they would like to not proceed on any more repairs or design changes in that crawl space. So,
Good.
Okay, yeah, it sounded good to us, and it sounded like the NPRSA or the senior center staff was okay with that. Another issue that we're working through, smaller issue, but important, there was a project to replace this grease trap interceptor at the Health and Wellness Center. And we're a bit of a work stoppage because we can't seem to find any of the as-built for that installation. And I know that Barbara's been helping with that. So the latest is that we have asked the City of Bothell Permit Office if they can provide those as-built. And so that request is still pending. So that project's a little bit on hold. One of our more significant projects, the refinishing and resurfacing of the pedestrian bridge. This is a big one. Cornerstone had done all the bid documents for us, and they did have to do some testing of the paint on the pedestrian bridge. They did, to no surprise to us, find that there's lead in that paint. And so there's some hazardous materials protections that have to be undertaken by the contractor. So that did bump up the cost a little bit. What Cornerstone did is they finished out the bid documents. Forma did just let us know that they've had a couple of contractors that have come out and they've just walked away from the project completely. I don't know the exact specifics yet, and Christine and I will find that out. But the main reason they said is that the contractors right now are just incredibly busy and they're just not interested in doing this project for us. But on Monday, they brought another painting subcontractor out to hopefully give an estimate, and hopefully we'll be able to do that work. We won't know exactly when that's going to be done. We're still looking at mid-September to start, but there's a lot of different things with the Ped Bridge. There's some dialogue going on between the contractors and us and the City of Bothell about the permitting. Can we do the work with, and I'm probably not using the right terms, but scaffolding, and not close down, the road and all the ways we thought we might have to. So there's just a lot of conversation going back and forth on that, in addition to trying to find a contractor who's actually willing and able to do that work. So not great news on that front, but at least we're learning new things every day on that project. One of the projects I know some of you are interested in, the Health and Wellness Center roof project. I don't know if you know this or not, because the reports came in right about the time that Carly was leaving. Cornerstone did an evaluation of the roof. And, initially we had thought that we were only going to need to replace many of the shingles. Cornerstone is now believes that perhaps we need to do a complete roof replacement. And I don't know if that's news. So, but what we're doing right now, Cornerstone has sent all of the documents to Forma and asked Forma to give us cost estimates for both the shingle replacements and full replacement. So we're kind of still evaluating that right now, but that will be a big decision that we'll have to make, that you as a board will have to make here pretty soon as we get those documents back. And then of course, another very, very big decision and project is the roof and the HVAC upgrades at the senior center. This is a project that I think we're gonna have to spend a lot of time and study on. I think y'all might have talked about it as a board a little bit, talked about the solar panels and the design options. If I'm being completely honest with you, I did not have the time to really dig into that and to have us, something substantial for you to actually evaluate. But I do know that Cornerstone has presented us with some kind of high level options. And it sounded like y'all were a little bit interested in exploring the solar panels at the last meeting. So I think what we need to do is just really decide how we're going to get you that information that you're going to need to make that decision. And I just think there's a lot more research that has to be done on that.
Question?
Yeah, did someone have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
So on the solar panels, I don't know if PSE or one of those companies could come out and give us like an ROI. If you, put on so many panels that you'll get a return on your investment in 6 years or 8 years or whatever. Because I think that would help, in making the decision too. But I think it should help our roof anyway. And some of them are attractive. The old solar panels were so ugly. Now they're really kind of cute. So, it's kind of nice that they've improved them. And on the trap that you were talking about, I think I remember, and this goes back like 20 some years. So I think I remember that when they did that on the other building, the wellness building, that contractor was pretty helpful. So I wonder if you could call them and see if they have a copy of that. Because I think there was some things back then where they had to do it more than once, or they had to fix something. So they might have something in their records.
Oh, that's a great suggestion. I'm not sure if we've even explored that yet. We may have, I don't know, but that's a great suggestion. I'll check on that. And I do think I remember us talking about the ROI on the solar panels. And I think it's just, we need to really put some thought into that and have somebody who's an expert really give us some concrete evaluation criteria that we can all look at and make an intelligent decision. And that project wasn't supposed to kick off until 2022, I believe. So we're not too behind on that. Those are kind of some of the big things. I do also want to mention, I know that in the last meeting, and I didn't speak up a lot because I literally had found out that day that we'd be having some staffing changes. We talked about the bathrooms. And we had a lot of discussion about the design of the bathrooms and urinals and all these different things. And after the meeting ended, I was informed that, that scope of work had already been approved and started and signed and was moving forward. But that's not to say that we can't reevaluate that project. So I don't know if we had any closure on that or if we had any more requests on that bathroom project. If we do, then absolutely, let's readdress it. I just wasn't really sure.
That was me.
Okay.
And I don't really care as long as it's, as long as it's been approved and such. I just want to make sure that we can keep things as clean as possible.
Yes.
And that the ones we discussed last time were maybe a little cleaner. And who knows what COVID-47 is going to look like. And so, making sure that all bodily fluids are kept contained as much as possible, I think is an important thing, because we don't want to get down the road and find out, oh, if we'd only designed it this way, there was this or that could happen. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up, just because of bodily fluids, and that I know
Yeah.
that there's been some upgrades in that since the 1940s.
Yeah.
Not that I was here then, I just heard it.
Yeah. That's something Christine and we can take a look at. We can kind of go back and revisit the bathroom repair that was already done and see if maybe we could make some improvements. So, and then one other kind of issue that was kind of hanging out there that I just wanted to close the loop on, and Barbara, correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like we discussed at the last meeting this the facilities modification request and the threshold at which NPRSA staff could approve those, and that it was 10,000 or below. But Barbara, did we actually finalize that decision?
So yes and no.
Okay.
We finalized the decision of the NPRSA staff being able to approve modifications or things that we were doing, the NPRSA was doing, without board approval. That's been on the books for a while now. What was being discussed at the previous meeting was whether the folks at Senior Center, Brooke, would be able to make modifications to their facilities up to a higher threshold than $1,000 without the board's formal approval of those modifications. So the example, I believe, was the water fountains,
Yeah.
which cost like $1,500, for example. And even though it was sort of a no-brainer to install those, and the board was more than happy to approve it, Brooke still had to actually come before us and present that and request your approval of that. And the discussion was, do we want to increase that threshold from $1,000, which is really too low to do almost anything, up to maybe $10,000 was, I think, the number that we were tossing around, so that Brooke would be able to make those changes and modifications to the facility more quickly and without sort of the extra step of having to get our permission first. And please correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that was the intention of that agenda item.
So there would still be an approval process, but it happens more at like Christine's level and the Senior Center, and it doesn't have to be elevated to the board, correct? I think we should take a little bit more time on that and just let Christine and Brooke and her staff kind of sort out what they think makes sense, and then maybe present that to the board next time and get a final approval, at least close it out, if that's okay with everyone.
Fine with me.
Okay. I don't have, and I know that was a lot. I don't have too many other updates, but I also just want to open it up for questions. Is there anything you as board members can think of you need, or you're needing from us as staff? Councilmember Marshall?
Yeah, on the staff approval, I would just want to make sure that, of course, any mechanism like that proposed is in compliance with all applicable state law. I'm uneasy always going forward here, since we don't have our own attorney. I've been uneasy about that, being an attorney myself, for some time. But if somebody can reassure that whatever gets proposed is in compliance with state law, that's helps me a lot.
That's fantastic. And we can have our attorney help us review things as well. We've done that in the past. So fantastic. All right.
I have a
Thank you
question.
so much. Oh, yeah.
I really like the idea, because and then it would come in our next board packet, so we would see it. One of the things that we do on some other boards is that we have a dollar amount, and they'll send it out saying, we're considering doing this. Are you okay with it? And, if we're at the majority, text back saying, yeah, we're fine with it, then it makes it really quick and easy. So we might want to look at tiers that, up to whatever, 5,000 or 7,000, 10,000. It does that, and then over that, you email it out to each person and see, and then it shows in the packet at the next time. If you have finished chapters of the contract, where you think that it's pretty close to being done, I would really like to have chapters rather than getting, and I'm making a number because I have no idea how long the contract is, but say the contract's 50 pages or more, probably 100 pages. I would rather get 10 pages and small thing than 1 week. You need to read a 100-page contract. So if we could give it small doses, and then if it changes, then just put it in the tracker that this is the change since you last read it. That way we all get to really dive into it, so nobody goes later, oh, I didn't know that was in the contract, because we really had time to dissect it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Fantastic.
And I'm not even an attorney, Joe.
Anything else for me? Thank you.
Brooke, you're up.
All right, well, I will start out by just kind of echoing what Becky said about, feeling like we have just a really positive, productive, and just generally really good working relationship. I think we were, we were nervous when Kelly announced that she was leaving. Carly was someone we worked, hand in hand with on a daily basis, and had just such a positive, great relationship with her. And Becky and Barbara have just been fantastic to work with over the past month or two. And so I think we are in a really good place. I've heard tremendous things about Christine, so I am really excited about where we're going, and it's been very, very positive. I guess I'll start out by just giving a quick update on programming, which is, I guess maybe to summarize, it's a little bit one step forward, one step back, or something along those lines. We did reinstitute a mask requirement about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, which of course, as of I think in a couple of days now, the whole state is back to that place. But it has been frustrating for our members, of course, who want to be in the building and want to be unmasked and fully participating in things. So, but that said, we've been continuing to grow our programming. We're looking at resuming some in-person meals soon versus the meals that we have been delivering. We'll still continue as long as we can to do some meal delivery, although are really prioritizing folks that have accessibility needs, mobility needs, and otherwise wouldn't have access to those meals. Our coffee bar hopefully will be opening soon, which for those of you who've been to the senior center, during the middle of the day, it's kind of the heart of the senior center. There's always laughter and lots of loud stories and all sorts of other stuff coming out of that space. So that will feel really good once we get back to that place. We do have a lot of other programming happening in person, and it's kind of continually growing. And so we're in a good place. We're not back to 100% at all. It still is more quiet than I think any of our staff like. It would be nice to have it be a little bit more filled with life, but we will get back there. A couple of facility things just to update you on. We have had a live-in security resident in our facility since we opened up. I don't know why. There was a small one-bedroom apartment built into the facility, but our security resident has moved out into a another place, a senior living facility closer to family. And at this point, we are not planning on refilling that position. It's the role of that person has evolved quite a bit over the years, and it's, you know, it's a lot to expect of someone to be there kind of all the time. So we do have an empty apartment on our facility that we are currently doing some planning around, and I anticipate that we will be coming to Christine and Becky in the next couple of weeks with some proposals for what we do with that space. We are not looking to propose an apartment, more likely additional office space, which we could use, or some additional program space to do some different things that we have not been able to do. So more to come on that. Several months ago, we had discussed the idea of exploring feasibility for an outdoor sports court. We have pursued that. We do have a couple of estimates for that work. They're somewhere in the $50,000 range. So we are essentially looking for funds to try to make that happen. And we're quite a ways from that right now, but I think it seems like something that would be a great addition to our community, certainly help with access to recreational activities for seniors outdoors. You know, a few months ago, it seemed as though maybe we didn't need outdoor sports as much. People could play pickleball indoors, but you know, doesn't seem to be where we're headed right now. So we are going to continue to pursue that, and we will keep Christine and Becky in the loop on that as well. And looking at both some potential private as well as public opportunities for funds for that. And I guess the big news, which is I don't think news to anyone, is that I am going to be transitioning out of the senior center towards the end of the year. I think I have told everyone the story, but you know, my husband had some pretty major health concerns last summer. He's doing great now, but there were some touch and go moments last year, and just felt like a little bit of a wake-up call. You know, life is short, and time to start knocking things off the bucket list. And so I have always, and I don't know why, I think I've worked in nonprofits for so long that when I say this, I feel like people must think I'm kidding, but I've always been really fascinated by, interested in doing real estate. And so I got my license last summer, and have been kind of playing away with that on the side, and I'm looking to pursue that on a more full-time basis. Hopefully also doing some nonprofit consulting here and there as well. So no firm timeline. I've kind of said I will stay through the end of the year, more or less. My objective is to facilitate a really smooth transition for whoever comes after me. As of yesterday, I think we had 40 applicants already. So a lot of interest in the position. I do know a handful of the applicants, and they are really just stellar. And so I'm really excited. I think we are in a great place. And I'm really just, you know, I think that we have done a lot over the last several years, and I think someone else can kind of move that work forward in a way that I might not be able to. So I think it's a really exciting time. So we will obviously keep you updated on that. I'm certain that there might be opportunities for people to participate in panel interviews when we get to that point, and to really weigh in on the top candidates. But yeah, I think we are going to be left in really good hands from all I'm seeing. So, and Suzanne is in the audience here, so, or maybe she's not tonight, but Suzanne Greathouse, who's our board president, is kind of leading the charge in the hiring panel. So, you know, certainly if you have candidates, please direct them to her. So yeah, and that's about all I have. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions people have.
No questions? You're gonna save them up to our last day?
Well, I don't have a question, but I just want to tell you how much you've meant to this organization.
Right.
And during some transition times that were less than smooth, you picked up not only the ball, but the court and the room and the atmosphere and carried it all on your own. And you did it gracefully, quietly, and never said, what the heck is going on here? You just kept it going one step at a time. And so I really appreciated how you jumped in, not only in that way, but also when the levy came. The levy, you just took an amazing leadership role. And so the direction that this organization is in has a huge to do with your efforts. And so I really want you to know how much I appreciate what you've done and the way you've gone about doing it. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And as I have told some folks, I'm not leaving anywhere. In fact, I have already requested my volunteer application for the senior center. So I will still be around, just kind of wearing a different hat. So it's a place that is near and dear to me. So that I don't intend to give up.
one of the things in that extra space that I'm thinking about, you know, we say that over half of the population is having mental health problems right now. And I haven't seen it broken down by age group, but I would have to think that it may be, in my opinion, a little skewed to the older people because some of them have literally been locked down in their rooms in some of our facilities. And just so you know, I'm going to be doing a piece of legislation that says you cannot treat a senior citizen any worse than we treat inmates. Our inmates, we let out an hour a day. And there are some people that were literally locked in their rooms for 15 months. You know some people. And I had a woman call me at 2 a.m. and I said, who's calling you? And he heard part of her conversation. I said, she's dying of loneliness. And 2 weeks later, she was dead. And my husband said, oh, how did you know? And I said, because I could hear it in her voice. We have a lot of seniors who I believe, because of people thinking it was their own safety, have really hurt these people in really dramatic ways. They haven't seen their children, they haven't seen their grandchildren, they haven't seen each other. Nobody talked about having bubbles of everybody in the West Wing or the East Wing. So a lot of damage has been done. And that is one of the things that I'm going to make sure I write about in my book, so that when COVID 500 hits, they'll be able to say, what did we do wrong? And I think this is something we did wrong. So that being said, I'm wondering if we should have some extra counseling spaces for people to really talk about how deeply damaging it was to them and their pain, and getting some people in to talk about bioenergetics or some kind of therapy that will help them deal with the locked pain that's happened. And then the VA called me yesterday, some representatives from the VA, and they're very interested in the veterans right now, especially the Afghani veterans, but also the Vietnam veterans, because this is bringing up some things for the Vietnam vets. So we have people that are really in crisis. And so do we have enough space for the crisis that these people are experiencing?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Kathy. We do have a full-time mental health professional on our team who has, been doing all sorts of virtual and more recently in-person, both support groups and one-on-one counseling with folks. We also have had a long-standing partnership with the VA where they have kind of come in and provided support to folks maybe twice a month on a specific day, and people can make an appointment or they can drop in. But I think one of the things we're looking at is really how to build in some more flexible space so that we can really invite in more community partners to, because obviously we can't do everything. We're not experts in everything. But that hub vision that King County has funded to really have places for all of the other experts in our community to come in and offer those services to the people that are there already. And so that is definitely something that we're kind of, Zorna, who's on the call, has been doing a lot of like Post-it notes on maps, trying to figure out where we can put people and how we can move folks around. But definitely having space for more partners to come in to provide those services is a top priority, in addition to, whatever else we could do ourselves.
Thank you.
Anything else for Brooke? Then moving right along, I think we have to talk about some future meetings, don't we? They are coming up.
We will have meetings on September 15th, October 20th, November 17th, and December 15th. Our next 4 months.
And I expect, come November, December, with holiday schedules and things like that, maybe we won't meet every month, but we can be flexible on that.
That sounds like a plan for me.
I'm hoping we have to have a meeting because you have so many things to tell us about everything that's been fixed and how wonderful it is, that we just have to have a meeting.
Oh, we can always just get together.
I'll go for that, especially I'm hearing dance floors need to be like tried out, that.
Oh, yeah. I'll see if I can get a band.
Ooh, okay.
I could offer my band, but we're not going to be seniors for a while. The boomers, the boomers we'd be too radical even for the boomers music.
Okay, we're gonna just turn around here. Turn that bad boy.
It's going to be a while till the punk rockers, are there, but we'll want it someday, I guess.
Yeah, I still like Nirvana. I like Nirvana.
How do you dance to Nirvana? You're supposed to just hang out.
I think you just bounce around a lot. It's good for your back. Okay, with that being said, I'll see you guys next month. Thank you very much for the participation. I know, Kathy, you got a election coming up and you got a good campaign going. Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Here. Okay, well,
Thanks,
thank you.
Barbara, for working through the technical. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thank you. You did a great job, Christine. Welcome aboard, and we're excited to work with you. Barbara, thanks for all you do. Brooke, I'm going to call you in a second to ask you what you heard and what you saw too, so we can compare notes.
Good night.
Right.